Would you like to have your query letter critique, but you don't want to pay to have that happen? It can be done for free, but it will be public out here on all my socials. My name is Gina. I'm an author, editor, publishing professional. I help you make your writing better. Information on how to submit will be at the end, but please, everybody, remember there is a real live person on the other side of this query, so we're going to be nice to them in the comments and nobody tell them to just self-publish because that's not how any of this works. Let's jump in. I am seeking representation for my new adult romantasy, Pact Bound, which stands complete at 120,000 words. A comparable title is Quicksilver by Callie Hart and is set in a world similar to that of Dungeons and Dragons. Pact-Bound is a slow burn romantasy that holds tropes as lovers to enemies to lovers, forbidden love, and forced proximity. All right, so really quick off the top here, 120,000, you're going to go ahead and write out 120,000 with the comma and all of the zeros. This 120K is like online shorthand. We're not going to do that in the professional letter. Putting a title in quotes like this is not how we set off titles. How is it similar? And a world similar to Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons is like definitionally a nothing world, right? Like it is a world that you are able to play in and you are able to write all of your own stories and kind of anything is possible. So this just tells me that it is like general fantasy land-ish. You also do not need to list out all of your tropes. This is much more common in a pitch or a blurb that you are using to reach an end reader, but listing out tropes like this is not super helpful. I would like you to demonstrate these tropes throughout the story here if they are necessary at all. So what this pitch paragraph up at the top is saying is I have just barely started looking at this and I haven't done a whole lot of research about the market, which is going to put agents and publishers a little bit on edge where they're gonna be like, oh, this feels kind of amateurish. Let's read carefully, but I probably know how this is going to turn out. Especially in such a trope-driven space as romantasy, you are going to need to set yourself apart from the pack. You are trying to convince somebody else to spend thousands of dollars on your book to help you publish this, and you are instead up here saying like, I'm exactly like the rest of the pack and I haven't made any effort to differentiate myself. But let's keep going. Let's see if the rest of the story stands on its own. So most of Athema's past is lost to her. However, there's one thing she's sure of. Holding a dagger feels as natural to her as breathing. Athemas is a kind-hearted and fierce vigilante who is hell-bent on freeing the people of Valeth from the iron grasp of the tyrannical Lord Regent Silas. Okay, so we have an amnesia trope right up at the top here. When a mission goes awry and the lives of her found family are placed in danger, she accepts a magical pact offered her by the very man she swore to protect her people from. Yet there's something amiss about him. It's as if he knows her, knows who she once was. So I'm assuming that's this guy, Silas here, is the one who knows something about her past. As Athemas unravels the mysteries of her past, a chilling truth comes to light. Her ledger is etched in the blood of countless lives taken in the name of her father, the god of death. If Athemas fails to sever the pact, she will forever be bound to Silas, and her father's wrath will spark a celestial war between deities and devils alike. All right, so yeah, this is very, very trope-driven romantasy. I assume Silas is the forbidden love that we have here. For awareness, Pact Bound could stand alone but has serious potential. So, okay, great. So again, what you have done here is you have listed a whole bunch of tropes and a whole bunch of like story structure pieces that are very usual within the romantasy space. So we have a tyrant that the people need to be protected from. She has amnesia up at the beginning, but surprise, she's an assassin who has actually killed a whole bunch of people. But she's going to fall in love with the person that she's trying to fight against. So you have just like taken these tropes, slowly peeled them apart here, and that's all that you have told us, is that the story is full of tropes. Your story, the thing that makes your story feel unique, is going to be your character and the actual things that they do and that happen to them. So like the past that is lost to her, which you like list out down here that she's an assassin, but the chilling truth comes to light. You also have like listed that out, that it's an assassin. So this isn't bringing anything like fresh and new, even though I assume there is something fresh and new and interesting about your story. How does the mission go awry? How is this pact offered? What is this actual pact here? How does she go about unraveling these mysteries? So there are things that you are doing that are going to be unique and fresh and interesting, but you are not showcasing any of those. You are showcasing all of the things that feel very usual within the space that you are working in. You don't want to spend a bunch of time explaining magic systems and explaining all of this backstory and world building, but basically what you have done here is like hinted that there's backstory, said that she's doing something, and then like laid out what the backstory actually is here. So turn the camera and focus it on a different piece of the story. Focus it on what makes your story feel unique and fresh and interesting. So Athema, this opening bit here, this is okay. This can stay. I would rephrase it, rework it a little bit, make it feel a little bit more active, make it feel a little bit more voicey, like lay off of the things that feel very tropey like this. One thing she's sure of, holding a dagger feels as natural to her as breathing. I would rephrase that in a way that feels a little bit more fresh, that doesn't rely on this construction here. I mean, just every single query letter, it seems like, has that construction in it. Especially when we get down here to this bit about like the celestial war between the deities, and like this is a little bit different. Not, I mean, it is still very trope driven. Like, you're in a very, very trope driven space, and that's okay. People really like these tropes, but this is starting to feel a little bit more interesting. Let's really dig into who your character is and what she brings to the table. It is not just that she's the one who is this vigilante. Why? Why is she the one with the personality to be this vigilante who will save all of her people and prevent this war? Why is she the one who is going to be able to save everybody? Really dig into those things that make your story feel unique. If you would like to submit for this, the information on how to do so is in my bio. There is a link in my link tree that says query critique submissions. If you do not want to do this publicly and instead would like to have me help edit your query letter, you can do that. The information is found on my website, including my rates and all of my turnaround times. If you do not want to wait in either of those very long lines, some of those can be months at a time, depending on when this video goes up, I have a course that you can teach yourself this entire process. It's $30 for 3.5 hours worth of original content. It's about the same price as an add-on workshop at a writing conference, but you don't have to travel and you don't have to pay for the rest of the writing conference. This will teach you how to write the query letter. It'll teach you how to write the synopsis, how to make sure your submission package is well organized, help you navigate some tricky etiquette situations. And it also includes before and afters of clients of mine who have gone on to sign with literary agents or with publishing houses after they've had their query letter edited with me. That is linked underneath the series button on TikTok, or it is found on Patreon in the collections. You do not have to be a paying member of my Patreon in order to access that. And like I said, it's $30 for 3.5 hours worth of content.